My beloved child, listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary, and it is not random. The moment you clicked, something shifted. Right now, somewhere, a person connected to you is shaking in total shock, not because of what you did, but because of what you are becoming. They sensed it before they understood it. A quiet realization is spreading through them, and it's unsettling. Stay with me for a moment, because this story does not rush, it reveals. Every second from here pulls back a layer, and the closer we get, the harder it becomes to look away. There was a time when they thought they had you figured out. They believed your limits were fixed, your role predictable, your future already written. But something changed recently, and they felt it before they could name it. A shift in energy. A calm confidence. A silence that speaks louder than words. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because the truth is. People lose control not when they are attacked, but when they realize they can no longer influence you. That's when shock sets in. That's when the ground beneath their assumptions starts to crack. What they are discovering now is not a secret you announced, but a truth you embodied. You stopped chasing validation. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped shrinking to fit expectations that were never designed for your growth. This may resonate as we continue, because the most powerful transformations happen quietly. And when others finally notice, it feels sudden to them, overwhelming even. They are piecing it together now, wondering how you slipped beyond their reach without making a sound. Here is where the tension deepens. The shock they feel isn't fear of losing you, it's fear of facing themselves. Your evolution reflects back everything they avoided becoming. Your discipline exposes their excuses. Your clarity highlights their confusion. Something huge is waiting for you, and they can sense it approaching, even if they don't understand its shape yet. This realization is rare, almost once in a lifetime, and it changes how every past interaction suddenly looks in hindsight. And this is only the beginning. The control they thought they had was never real, it was borrowed from your old self, a version of you that no longer exists. Now, as they stand in disbelief, you continue forward, untouched by their shock, guided by something deeper. What happens next is where everything truly shifts, and the revelation ahead will connect every moment you've questioned until now. Stay right here, because the next turn changes everything. The silence after realization is always louder than confrontation, and this is where their control truly collapses. They replay old moments in their mind, searching for the exact second they lost their grip, but they won't find it, because it wasn't one moment, it was a pattern. You outgrew the version of yourself they depended on. Stay with me for a moment, because this phase is where shock turns into disbelief, and disbelief slowly turns into panic. They are realizing you no longer react the way you used to, and that terrifies them more than any argument ever could. What unsettles them most is not your success, but your composure. You no longer rush. You no longer prove. You no longer chase. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because people feel safest when they can predict you, and you have become unpredictable in the most powerful way. Calm. Focused. Grounded. This shift creates an internal storm for them, because control only works on those who still seek approval. And you walked away from that need without announcing it. There is a deeper layer to this shock that few talk about. They sense that you are aligning with something bigger than validation, purpose, direction, inner authority. This may resonate as we continue, because when someone steps into alignment, others feel exposed. Your growth silently asks questions they are not ready to answer. Questions about courage, about discipline, about wasted time. And the truth is, your presence alone has become a mirror they can no longer avoid. Before we go further, take a breath and recognize this moment, because if this message is speaking to you, you are not alone on this path. If this perspective adds value, share this with someone who needs clarity right now. Let your thoughts be known in the comments, and stay connected by subscribing, because what unfolds next builds directly on this shift. Something huge is waiting for you, and the journey becomes clearer when you don't walk it alone. Now understand this clearly. The shock they feel is temporary, but your transformation is permanent. They may try to regain influence, reinterpret your growth, or downplay your progress, but it won't work. You have crossed a threshold where awareness replaces reaction. Control fades when consciousness rises. And as you continue forward, steady and intentional, the truth becomes undeniable: you were never meant to stay where they felt comfortable. And the next revelation will explain exactly why this had to happen. There is a moment when realization settles so deeply that it rewrites the past, and this is that moment. They are now seeing old conversations differently, recognizing pauses they ignored, noticing strength where they once saw compliance. Nothing dramatic announced this change, yet everything points to it. Stay with me for a moment, because this stage is where understanding begins to hurt. Not loudly, but internally. The kind of shock that doesn't show on the face, only in restless thoughts and unanswered questions. What they are slowly accepting is that you didn't transform overnight, you awakened. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because awakening doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't explain itself. It simply moves forward. You started choosing alignment over comfort, truth over approval, and silence over unnecessary noise. That choice alone shifted the balance. And when balance shifts, those who relied on the old structure feel the instability first. This may resonate as we continue, because your growth didn't just elevate you, it disrupted a familiar dynamic. You no longer fill the gaps they left open. You no longer carry emotional weight that was never yours. Your energy has become self-contained, and that is rare. People expect resistance or rebellion, but calm detachment confuses them far more. It removes leverage. It removes access. And without access, control fades completely. The most unsettling part for them is sensing what comes next. They feel momentum building around you, something they cannot define yet. Something huge is waiting for you, and even they can sense it approaching like distant thunder. Opportunities, clarity, recognition, none of it forced, all of it earned. This awareness creates pressure, because they know once it arrives, the distance between who you were and who you are becomes undeniable. And here lies the quiet truth: this phase is irreversible. You are no longer becoming, you are arriving. Every step now is intentional, every pause deliberate. They may still be watching, still wondering, still trying to understand when the shift happened. But by the time they fully grasp it, you will already be standing somewhere new. And the final layer of this revelation will explain exactly what that place means for you, and for them. Everything converges here, at the point where truth can no longer be delayed. They now understand why the shock felt so intense, because it wasn't about loss, it was about inevitability. You were always moving toward this moment, even when it looked like nothing was happening. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where the final veil lifts. What they feel now is not confusion anymore, but acceptance mixed with awe. They are realizing that what unfolded was bigger than their expectations and beyond their influence. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because the final realization hits hardest. You didn't rise to oppose them, you rose to honor yourself. That distinction changes everything. You chose awareness over reaction, direction over distraction. And in doing so, you stepped into a version of yourself that answers to no external script. This may resonate as we continue, because true power never announces itself, it becomes visible only when it's too established to question. There is a quiet authority in you now that cannot be negotiated with. Your decisions feel rooted. Your presence feels steady. And that is why control dissolves so quickly. People can manage chaos, but they cannot manage certainty. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a surprise, but as a confirmation of everything you aligned with. And once it fully arrives, the shock they felt will make sense to them in hindsight. If this message is aligning with your journey, let it move beyond you. Share it with someone who is standing at the edge of their own realization. Let your reflection be seen in the comments, and stay connected by subscribing, because understanding deepens when perspective continues. What you are stepping into deserves witness, and the next layer of insight builds on this exact moment. Now carry this forward with calm confidence. You owe no explanations, no justifications, no performances. The truth is already visible in your growth, your clarity, your direction. They lost control the moment you chose alignment, and that choice cannot be undone. This is not an ending. This is the moment everything finally makes sense. The final understanding arrives quietly, like dawn you don't notice until the room is full of light. This is where everything clicks into place, and the shock they felt turns into certainty. Stay with me for a moment, because this part seals what was always true. You were never meant to remain accessible to every opinion, every demand, every expectation. The distance they feel now is not rejection, it is growth finally taking its rightful space. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you can now see how each delay protected you, how each setback refined you, how each silence strengthened your resolve. What once felt confusing was actually preparation. You learned restraint. You learned discernment. You learned when not to move. And that wisdom changed your trajectory in ways no one could control or predict. This may resonate as we continue, because the real revelation is not about them at all. It is about you recognizing your own authority. You no longer seek permission to trust your instincts. You no longer negotiate with doubt. Your standards rose, your focus sharpened, and your inner voice became louder than outside noise. That shift alone explains why everything around you began to reorganize. Something huge is waiting for you, not in the future, but in the present moment you are finally ready to inhabit. It feels aligned, steady, undeniable. Opportunities respond to who you are now, not who you were. And that is why the shock happened, because when identity changes, reality must follow. This alignment is rare, and once it locks in, it does not loosen. So walk forward without urgency and without fear. You are not late. You are precise. The control they lost was never yours to protect. What you gained is far greater: clarity, direction, and a grounded sense of self that cannot be shaken. This is not the end of the story. This is the point where everything truly begins. There is a calm that follows truth, and this is where you stand now. Not rushing, not proving, not explaining. Stay with me for a moment, because this stage is subtle yet powerful. The noise has faded, and in that quiet, you can finally hear yourself clearly. What once felt heavy now feels resolved, and the shock they experienced has turned into distant awareness. You are no longer reacting to the world, you are responding from alignment. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you can trace the path that led you here without regret. Every choice refined your judgment. Every pause strengthened your patience. You learned that power grows when it is not forced. This understanding shifted how you move, how you speak, how you decide. And that shift made you unreachable to manipulation, expectation, and pressure. This may resonate as we continue, because the most defining transformations are invisible until they are complete. You didn't announce your evolution, you lived it. And now, the results speak quietly but firmly. Your boundaries feel natural. Your focus feels protected. Your energy feels intentional. These are signs of someone who has stepped into self-leadership. Something huge is waiting for you, and it recognizes you because you recognize yourself. It aligns with your pace, your standards, your direction. There is no urgency, only readiness. This is where opportunity meets preparation, and neither has to chase the other. The shock others felt was simply the moment they realized you were no longer waiting. So remain steady. Let your actions continue to reflect your clarity. You do not need witnesses for your progress, but your presence will inevitably leave an impression. Control fades where confidence is rooted, and you are now rooted deeply. This chapter is not loud, but it is unshakable. And everything ahead will build from this foundation. What comes next is not movement, but mastery. This is the phase where everything slows down just enough for precision to take over. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where intention replaces impulse. You are no longer pushed by urgency or pulled by expectation. Each step now is measured, and that alone changes how the world responds to you. What once felt uncertain now feels quietly under control. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you finally recognize the difference between effort and alignment. You are not forcing outcomes anymore, you are positioning yourself for them. Your awareness has sharpened, and with it, your ability to choose what deserves your time. This shift is subtle, but it carries weight. People sense it. Situations adjust around it. Momentum begins to follow you instead of the other way around. This may resonate as we continue, because this stage often feels understated from the inside. There is no dramatic announcement, no external validation needed. Just a steady confidence that doesn't ask questions anymore. You trust your timing. You trust your direction. And that trust creates a presence that speaks before words ever do. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is responding to this exact version of you. Not the one who doubted, not the one who rushed, but the one who is grounded, aware, and deliberate. This alignment opens doors that cannot be forced open. They appear naturally, at the right moment, because you are finally moving at your own pace. So remain attentive, not anxious. The path ahead does not require haste, only consistency. You are no longer preparing for the next chapter, you are already living it. And as each moment builds on the last, the full picture becomes undeniable. This is what happens when growth settles into certainty. The awareness you carry now changes how everything lands. Words reach you differently. Situations reveal their truth faster. Stay with me for a moment, because this is the phase where discernment becomes your quiet advantage. You no longer take things at face value. You feel what aligns and what doesn't before logic even catches up. This is not suspicion, it's maturity settling in, and it reshapes how you engage with the world. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you are no longer distracted by surface-level signals. You see patterns. You sense intentions. You understand timing. This deeper perception is what makes others uneasy, even if they can't explain why. It's not that you know everything. It's that you know yourself. And self-knowledge removes confusion from decision-making. This may resonate as we continue, because the strongest shifts don't announce arrival. They stabilize. Your reactions are measured. Your responses are thoughtful. Your silence is intentional. This inner balance creates an external calm that cannot be rushed or disrupted. People notice that you are harder to influence, not because you resist, but because you are centered. Something huge is waiting for you, and it aligns with this clarity. It requires presence, not pressure. Readiness, not noise. You are now in a position where opportunity recognizes you without introduction. This is what happens when preparation meets awareness at the same time. So move forward with steadiness. Let understanding guide you, not impulse. You are no longer searching for signs, you are becoming one. And this phase, quiet yet powerful, sets the tone for everything that follows. There is a depth to your stillness now that didn't exist before. It's not emptiness, it's composure. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where inner stability becomes unmistakable. You are no longer pulled into every reaction or shaken by every shift. Instead, you observe first, then decide. That alone changes outcomes before they even unfold. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you understand the value of timing. You no longer rush to speak or move. You wait until alignment confirms direction. This patience is not hesitation, it's mastery. And mastery creates a presence that feels grounded, even in uncertainty. Others sense it, even if they can't name it. This may resonate as we continue, because this level of self-command is rare. You don't need to dominate a room to influence it. Your consistency does that for you. Your focus carries weight. Your calm creates space. And in that space, opportunities find their way toward you without resistance. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's responding to this steadiness. It requires someone who can hold clarity without rushing outcomes. You have become that person. This alignment didn't happen by chance, it was shaped through every moment you chose awareness over reaction. So remain anchored. Let your presence speak naturally. You are no longer chasing momentum, you are maintaining it. And as this chapter continues to unfold, the direction ahead becomes not only visible, but inevitable. A quiet certainty surrounds you now, and it changes how the future approaches you. Stay with me for a moment, because this is the phase where confidence no longer needs reassurance. You are not questioning your path anymore, you are walking it. What once required effort now feels natural, and that ease is the clearest sign of growth fully integrated. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you recognize how far you've come without needing to measure it. You no longer compare timelines or outcomes. Your focus rests on direction, not speed. This internal alignment creates a calm authority that cannot be shaken by outside opinions or temporary noise. This may resonate as we continue, because the strongest version of you is not loud or rushed, it is consistent. Your choices reflect intention. Your boundaries reflect self-respect. And your presence reflects someone who knows where they are going, even if the full picture is still forming. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is drawn to this stability. It requires someone who can hold vision without impatience, growth without chaos. You are ready for it because you have learned to trust the process without needing constant confirmation. So continue forward with assurance. You are not missing anything, you are arriving exactly where you need to be. This stage is not dramatic, but it is decisive. From here, every step builds on certainty, and the path ahead unfolds with purpose. The rhythm of your life feels different now, steady and intentional. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where momentum becomes sustainable. You are no longer sprinting toward outcomes or hesitating at crossroads. You move with an inner pace that feels right, and that rhythm keeps you grounded even when circumstances shift around you. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you see how alignment protects energy. You invest attention only where it matters. You release what no longer serves direction. This discernment simplifies decisions and strengthens resolve. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what fits. This may resonate as we continue, because your confidence now comes from consistency, not intensity. You show up the same way, whether conditions are ideal or uncertain. That reliability builds trust in yourself, and that self-trust quietly shapes every outcome you touch. Something huge is waiting for you, and it responds to this balance. It requires steadiness, not urgency. Presence, not pressure. You have grown into someone who can receive without rushing and act without forcing. That readiness is rare, and it opens doors naturally. So keep honoring your rhythm. Let progress remain measured and intentional. You are no longer preparing for change. You are living within it. And from this place of stability, the next chapter unfolds with clarity and purpose. There is a sense of ownership in how you carry yourself now, as if your life finally fits your hands. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where responsibility transforms into freedom. You no longer feel weighed down by choices, you feel empowered by them. Each decision reflects awareness, not pressure, and that awareness gives you room to breathe. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you understand that control was never about holding everything tightly. It was about knowing when to release. You've learned to let outcomes unfold without losing direction. This balance keeps you steady even when the unknown appears, because you trust your ability to respond. This may resonate as we continue, because true independence doesn't isolate, it stabilizes. You are present without being consumed. Committed without being constrained. This inner stability reshapes how others interact with you, sensing that you are grounded in your own authority. Something huge is waiting for you, and it aligns with this sense of ownership. It requires someone who can stand fully in their choices without doubt. You have grown into that role naturally, through patience and self-honesty. So continue forward with composure. Let your actions reflect the confidence you now carry. You are not seeking direction, you are embodying it. And from this grounded place, what comes next feels not only possible, but inevitable. A deeper calm settles in when everything finally feels aligned within. Stay with me for a moment, because this is the stage where inner noise fades. You are no longer pulled in multiple directions at once. Your focus narrows, not out of limitation, but out of clarity. What matters stands out naturally, and what doesn't quietly falls away. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you recognize the strength of simplicity. You don't overcomplicate choices anymore. You act from understanding, not urgency. This grounded approach creates consistency, and consistency builds confidence that doesn't waver with circumstances. This may resonate as we continue, because this level of clarity changes how you experience time. You are present instead of rushed. Attentive instead of anxious. That presence allows opportunities to meet you where you are, without force or strain. Something huge is waiting for you, and it aligns with this refined focus. It requires someone who can see clearly without distraction, move steadily without hesitation. You have cultivated that ability through patience and self-awareness. So remain centered. Let simplicity guide your steps. You are no longer navigating chaos, you are shaping direction. And from this place of calm certainty, the path ahead continues to open with purpose. There is a quiet confidence in you now that does not need confirmation. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where self-belief becomes unshakable. You are no longer looking outward for signals to move, you feel readiness internally. That internal signal is steady, reliable, and grounded in experience. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you trust your judgment without hesitation. You understand your limits and your strengths, and that understanding removes fear from decision-making. You move forward knowing you can adapt, adjust, and continue without losing direction. This may resonate as we continue, because this stage marks a shift from growth to embodiment. You are not practicing confidence anymore, you are living it. Your actions align with your values naturally, without effort or performance. Something huge is waiting for you, and it recognizes this alignment. It requires someone who stands firmly in their sense of self, unaffected by distraction or doubt. You have become that person through consistent awareness. So continue with assurance. Let trust in yourself guide every step. You are not searching for validation, you are grounded in truth. And from this place of certainty, what lies ahead unfolds with quiet strength and purpose. A sense of completion begins to form, not as an ending, but as readiness. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where everything you've integrated starts working together. Your thoughts, actions, and direction no longer feel separate, they move as one. This harmony creates a confidence that feels natural, not forced. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you recognize how far alignment can carry you. You are no longer resisting change or chasing outcomes. You respond with awareness, and that awareness keeps you steady even when situations evolve. This adaptability is quiet strength in motion. This may resonate as we continue, because this stage reflects maturity of vision. You see beyond immediate results. You understand the value of patience without losing momentum. That balance allows progress to feel sustainable rather than exhausting. Something huge is waiting for you, and it meets you at this point of readiness. It aligns with your pace, your focus, your values. There is no rush to reach it, because you are already moving in the right direction. So move forward with confidence and calm. You are not finishing a journey, you are stepping into a phase where everything works together. And from this place of integration, the future unfolds with clarity and purpose. There is a steadiness in your awareness now that cannot be disrupted. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where trust in your own direction becomes absolute. You no longer second-guess the path unfolding beneath your feet. Each step feels supported by understanding, not hope. This calm is earned, and it signals a deep internal alignment. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you recognize that certainty doesn't mean knowing every detail, it means trusting your capacity to handle what appears. You are comfortable with progress that reveals itself gradually. This patience strengthens your resolve and keeps your focus clear, even when outcomes are still forming. This may resonate as we continue, because you are no longer driven by anticipation alone. You are present with the process. You allow growth to mature instead of forcing it forward. That restraint sharpens your discernment and protects your energy from unnecessary strain. Something huge is waiting for you, and it aligns with this composure. It requires someone who can remain steady while opportunities expand. You have developed that steadiness through awareness, consistency, and self-trust. That readiness cannot be rushed, it settles naturally. So continue forward with grounded confidence. You are not seeking signs anymore, you are moving with intention. From this place of stability, the path ahead unfolds smoothly, and each step carries meaning without pressure. A quiet assurance surrounds you now, the kind that doesn't ask to be seen. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where inner certainty becomes your constant companion. You are no longer waiting for motivation to act or reassurance to continue. Your direction feels settled, and that settlement creates peace in motion. As this unfolds, clarity will come, because you understand that strength does not always look like action, it often looks like restraint. You choose carefully. You listen fully. You move when alignment confirms the step. This measured approach gives weight to everything you do. This may resonate as we continue, because you are no longer defined by reaction or resistance. You operate from intention. That shift changes the quality of your presence and the outcomes you attract. Your energy feels consistent, and consistency builds quiet momentum. Something huge is waiting for you, and it recognizes this level of composure. It requires someone who can carry responsibility without strain and opportunity without urgency. You have grown into that balance naturally, without force. So remain steady and attentive. Let clarity continue to guide you. You are not approaching the future, you are walking within it. And from this place of assurance, every step forward feels both grounded and purposeful.